Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I am Sean Butler. Bugsy Malone is down here. It's frosty, it's sunny, blue skies, sun is low, in my face. Need some Ray-Bans for a January day. It feels like I'm in Chamonix or somewhere like that, even though I haven't been there for a long, long time. I hope you're all happy and healthy, doing the things you love, guys. Welcome to the FA Cup weekend. Yesterday we saw a brilliant opening game between West Ham and Villa. West Ham took the lead and looked pretty dominant for most of the game until the second half progressed, and then Aston Villa just sort of turned up a notch, and Graham Potter's West Ham team on his debut couldn't hold on, and in the end Aston Villa's quality showed in the last sort of 25 minutes, and they were, do I say well-worthy winners? I don't think I'm going to say that because I thought West Ham were good value in the first 60, but either way, 2-1 to Villa, they go through. Today we've got Accrington Stanley versus Liverpool starting momentarily. And then a bunch of other games before Tottenham take on Tamworth tomorrow. It should be a walk in the park, or is that too much of a kiss of death thing to say? AstroTurf pitch, artificial pitch. I'm not sure if they play on sand or water. You'd hope it'd be a water pitch, but in any event, slide tackles, injuries, hope that doesn't happen. It's going to be interesting, guys. But we're not going to hit it all about that. We'll talk about that possibly later tonight or tomorrow. In the meantime, let's talk about some transfer news, views and clues for you. And for me, guys, we're going to start with the Angel Gomes. I've been asking forever for a devil in the form of the 666, and instead it looks like today we're not going to get that guy. We're going to get an angel instead. What's Daniel Levy thinking of on this one? Well, I think he's thinking about deals, negotiations, double deals potentially. Lille's Angel Gomes up for free. I think he's on free transfer in the summer. I think his contract is up, as too is Jonathan David. I don't know whether it's David or David. Maybe I think it's David because he's playing in France rather than actually being French. Everybody else says it's Jonathan David. Maybe I'm just wrong on that one. I don't mind. I'll change the name. Jonathan David. Look, could we get a double deal done? Well, you wouldn't put it past Daniel Levy to go and see that. But buying players from the French league hasn't always worked out for Tottenham. In terms of Angel Gomes, I'm a big fan of the player. Small guy, very low centre of gravity, good technical player, good with his ball at his feet, can zip in and out, can dribble, do a lot of really interesting stuff. Also got that vision, that ability to pop the ball into the channels when he needs to. However, does he have the sort of defensive framework, the defensive work that I want to see? I'm not sitting here saying that you have to be a big, tall, cruiserweight boxer to tick the boxes of being a beast, because you look at N'Golo Kante, who was one of the best in the six in the last generation of footballers. So I'm not holding that against N'Golo Kante. Sorry, I'm not holding that against Angel Gomes. It's not, you can't help your size. I just don't think he is a 6, he's an 8. He's clearly an 8. And I think we already have a lot of them. As you look forward and you think, in 18 months' time, you're going to have Pape Sarr turning 23, 24. You're going to have a 20, 21-year-old Archie Gray, a 20, 21-year-old Lucas Bergvall. The future's very bright with our midfield. You've got lots of other players that can come in. We don't know where Jamie Donnelly's best position is. We don't know where Mikey Moore's best position is. We don't know where, if there's going to be Alfie Devines, if they're going to materialise to the sorts of level that we hope they will. We don't know, right? But we have a hell of a lot of talent. Plus we've got Bentancur, Bissouma. I think one of those guys has to go. But if I'm looking for additional support in the midfield, then I want to see it in a 6. I think that the value of a 6 is, it was worth its weight in gold for a bunch of reasons. One is, if you're going to continue with this kind of inverted fullback system, where Ange's kind of idea that you don't need a 6, you just need midfielders that can sort of do everything, and the inverted fullbacks kind of become the defensive midfielders or the central midfielders, but they don't. In this system, they seem to progress forward to become 10s. And then in transition, all you then have is essentially a 10, and then either 5 8s, or however you want to think of it, or maybe 2 10s, 3 10s if Udogie and Pedro Porro are right up like they have been in recent games. And then you have 2 midfielders in a Lucas Bergvall and a Pape Sarr or a Bentancur or whatever, and no one behind it. And then you face the consequences of nobody being there to kind of anticipate, interpret, intercept, and protect the back 2, whoever they might be. And so for me, having a 6 that's primary job is to do those defensive duties, but just to sit and protect and let everybody else do all of the complex stuff ahead of them, I think it's worth its weight in gold, both in the primary formation and also in this new emerging tactic that we've seen over the last 2 to 3 games of the fullback staying wider, overlapping on the outside, playing more longer balls from the back. Having that 6 can allow you to utilise the fullbacks in more conventional ways, and it allows there to be that protection even if you go wide and the transition happens and the team comes narrow. If they're good enough at being able to read the game, to spot the danger and to intercept and analyse and make a move in that regard, you can protect, especially if you have players that are more likely to stay on their feet and still win the duels, the physical battles. And in Douglas Luiz, you have that. In the next guy we're going to talk about in a moment, we have that as well. In a player who I haven't spoken to you guys about before, but was linked with us last week. Then it was initially said that we'd made a move for the guy. Then it was poo-pooed and said that's not true. Palmeiras' Richard Rios, I'm talking about. He is a player that I'll talk about as a sort of technical guy in a second, but a player that Palmeiras have apparently said that they don't want to lose right now because they want to keep their squad together for the Club World Cup next year in 2026 or 2025, but later 2025. Obviously, they're in their kind of out-of-season period, I think, right now. So they want to carry on keeping the squad together for one more season. But ultimately, Palmeiras are obviously going to look at European money. If the money comes in, if someone makes them an offer they can't refuse in this January window, of course they'll do the business because it's just the economics. It's A, B's and C's of business. That's how the game works. And for me, Richard Rios is a player that, look, he ticks a lot of boxes for me. He's another big, strapping, cruiserweight type guy. Not quite as big as like a Douglas Luiz, but I think you need that physicality. I think you need it. If you're going to come up against teams like Newcastle and Arsenal that have those big, strong, strapping players at the back and in midfield, the absence of it for us is problematic. You know, you saw Decky. Decky's our strongest player, but didn't he get bullied? Didn't he get absolutely shouldered by, was it Connor Bradley in the Liverpool game against Newcastle? We were bullied all over the pitch. Joe Linton going in, getting away with however many yellow card fouls he should have had. And what about Dan Burn as well? We don't have enough in the world, in the realms of physicality. You have Decky, then maybe after that you have like a Romero. I mean, Bissouma, I guess you could say, is slightly physical, but I don't think you don't think of him as being a physical specimen when we describe him. And again, I don't think he's the right guy for our system, even though I do think he had a great game against Liverpool. What I would say, you know, you don't look at Van De Ven and think physical. Even though Radu Dragusin is a big, strapping, strong guy, I don't think he realises how physical he could be because he doesn't come across that way. And I think the absence of some real strength, some real, like, men, when you have such a young core nucleus of people that are 18, 19, 20 years old that haven't fully developed as men yet, you need a couple in there that can carry that kind of responsibility of being the beast, being that, it doesn't have to be a six, but being that kind of devil in the white shirt. And I don't think Angel Gomes is the guy. He's not, he's brilliant at a lot of things, but he's not what I think we need. I don't mind him coming in if there's a plan for how we're going to use him. And I've got lots of love for the way he strikes the ball. I've got lots of love for his technicality, his dribble skills. I think he's a really good 8. We have a lot of 8s already. And I don't think we have the same amount of demand for English players now as we did last year. So that kind of, that rationale of kind of going after players because they're English, are we now doing it because of the business logic? Shut up, Bugsy! Are we now doing it because of the business logic where we want to kind of overload our squad with lots of English players because Daniel Levy sees that there's a sell-on value and a premium attached. So if you can go and get an Angel Gomes, who is going to be a free transfer essentially at the end of the season. Maybe you could do a double deal with Lille for him and Jonathan David. But are we doing it for other alternative reasons than just the logic of the fit for the squad? Is it maybe, you go and get him now and you can sell him if it doesn't work out for 30% more than what his valuation is because he's English, right? And if that's the case, and I understand Daniel Levy is always thinking about the business side, but again, at some point we have to kind of go, where's the specificity of what we need? And for me, just my opinion, let me know yours, I think that there is that need for someone who is a big, strong physical presence that can sit in the back for the aforementioned reasons. A, it helps our tactic now, but B, it absolutely offers the viability for the kind of the emerging tactic of going back to traditional fullbacks, hitting the width, overlapping at the top, and even kicking the ball long in the transition, in the kind of rotation of play, having that guy that can sit there. And we don't have anyone that can do that right now. Bissouma's not consistent enough for me. So whether it's Douglas Luiz, whether it's Richard Rios, by the way, if you like Richard Rios as a defensive player, he stays on his feet, right? Doesn't slide in as much as other players do. And that, again, is a really key and crucial asset because if you are going to play in that pocket and you slide in and you get it wrong, then you are then out of the play. Whereas you stay on your feet and you shoulder barge people and you time your tackles well, you time your duels well, then even if you lose, you're not cut out of the play, and it adds that extra body, it slows the play down, it lets other people get back. And that to me is a really core and crucial attribute to throw into the mix as a value proposition for a player that I have to admit I don't know very much about. He's a Palmeiras player, I don't watch Brazilian football, I don't even think you can get Brazilian football in the UK yet. But that might change actually because of the TV deals that are going to emerge very soon over there. But in any event, on the ball, I've heard a lot of people saying recently we need people to be taking more pot shots. We've got Pedro Porro, who's very good at taking pot shots from the outside the box. Pape Sarr, I think less accurate, but also willing to do it. But apart from that, not many. Right? Maybe James Maddison, when he plays, doesn't mind taking a few. But we should be doing more of them. And for me, you look at Richard Rios. Go and look on YouTube. Like I said, I haven't got the Y-Scout right now, so I can't run him through all the things I usually would. But from what I've seen of the 4 or 5 videos I've watched, the guy loves a pot shot. He's got free kicks that are banged in top bins that seem to go at like 100 miles an hour from 35, 40 yards out. Absolutely insane. If the ball is stationary but in play, he doesn't mind also looking up and just having a crack from 25, 30 yards. And he seems to have that ability, that technique with his striking that is so pure, kind of like Ronaldo taking his free kicks and hitting the valve, and you'd see it from behind where the ball kind of stays absolutely still, and then because of that, moves violently in the with the wind resistance, and makes it incredibly difficult to read the flight for the goalkeeper, and good things can happen. And you see a lot of those if you look on the YouTube. Now, obviously, it's the YouTube highlight reel, so I'll take it with a pinch of salt. But still, if you like a player that can take distance, has the confidence to take shots from distance, you'll see a lot of them on the YouTube reels. And he does look like he's got a brilliant shot striking technique. He looks like he's got like a footballer's instinct as well. His ability to kind of pick the right move, pick the right pass. But again, like I say, don't know enough about him, and he's 24 years old. The stories are that he's not going to come if Palmeiras can resist any kind of bid. But if, of course, there is an offer that can't be refused, then he might make a move over. And I would like to see us move more in the direction of a big physical player like him or like Douglas Luiz than I would Angel Gomes. But let me know. And I don't even think Angel Gomes is anything like the same sort of player as Douglas Luiz is. But let me know your thoughts, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Any other news for you today? I think there's only one real story for you that I thought I'd bring to your attention, and that is Harry Gray, Archie Gray's brother, who's 16 years old. We spoke about this randomly. I think Dave and Johnny brought it up randomly on the Devil's Advocate this week. And apparently this morning I've seen a couple of stories saying that Tottenham are thinking about kind of making a move for Harry Gray, who's a striker, 16 years old, in Leeds United's academy, and that he might be a part of some deal, at least in the summer, where Ben Davies goes to Leeds, and as part of the kind of some sort of arrangement, because the two clubs seem to have a good kind of relationship right now, where Harry Gray might come back. Now, I think Ben Davies is out of contract, isn't he? So I don't know why there would need to be some sort of reciprocal relationship there, but I think it's just more of a kind of a sealing of the kind of the club's relationships. Archie Gray and his family, Andy Gray, his father, I think the grandfather as well, I forget his name, wanted to see how Archie Gray got on at Tottenham, how happy he is, and whether or not it'll be a good move for the brother, who Archie Gray has said in interviews he believes his brother is better than him. Different type of player, obviously, but obviously just like on raw talent. And so, an interesting one, right? Ben Davies going to follow in the kind of in the previous relationship between Leeds, where I think Joe Roden went that direction as well. So, interesting that Leeds and Tottenham have a sort of decent kind of hook up there that maybe can yield some more fruits in the future. Leeds have got a fantastic youth set up. Lots of great players have come through their system. So these things are all nice to nurture, aren't they? It's nice to think that maybe Tottenham and Daniel Levy are starting to build relationships rather than burn bridges, which has been the kind of common theme over the last, 10 to 15 years, with regards most chairmen saying Daniel Levy's a nightmare to negotiate with. And again, not because he's some brilliant negotiator. I don't think he is. I think that this idea that there's a zero-sum game where someone has to lose and someone has to win, and his is just like a hard line. Here's my number on the purchase or the sale. Take it or leave it. I'm not going to deal with you until you come towards me. I think that stuff is not the way that you conduct good business. I think it seems like it's an argument all the time rather than a good faith business relationship. But it looks like in certain clubs, between certain clubs, Tottenham are starting to have some sort of ongoing conduct that hopefully can only build bridges and be a good thing. Well, let me know your thoughts. I looked at Harry Gray's highlight reels on YouTube from his youth performances, and it's difficult, obviously, it's youth stuff, right? So you don't know what the level is like, but I'll tell you what, some of his finishes are spectacular, and it looks like he's just able to it almost looks like you know what he's going to do, but the players around him, the defensive players, can't seem to stop him regardless. And I think he's obviously going to have a bright future. And it'll be interesting to see if we could take advantage and bring him closer to his brother, Archie, who's just started so magnificently well at Tottenham. Anyway, guys, that's it. 15 minutes. There's not a lot to go through. Angel Gomes. I wanted a devil. Is Daniel Levy going to bring me an angel? Not sure. Jonathan David. Nothing new on Molo Kwani, on Kolo Muani. Who's Molo Kwani? And Bugsy's being a pain in the arse, as always. Like, subscribe and comment, guys. I'll speak to you later on if we do a live stream to talk about Tamworth and whatever else is going on over the weekend. Have a good one, and I'll see you soon. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, bye-bye.